Hello again. This is a second video about the Artbreeder website. The reason I've decided to do a second video is that after posting the first video, I thought of a few things that I thought were worth sharing that I hadn't thought to put in the first video. So if you haven't seen the first video, you should watch that one first, because that's the one where I explain what Artbreeder is and what the point of it is. This is just some extra material that I didn't think of at the time. First of all, I would like to say that there is a subreddit. I'll put the link in the description, but it is just reddit.com/r/artbreeder. There's a lot of people just posting stuff they've made, but it's also a good place to get support, ask questions if you can't work out how to do something. And so on. All right. The next thing I wanted to say is that when I was altering pictures, let's save that, I only increased the genes, as they call them, but you can decrease them as well. So for example, I can take the brown hair gene away. As well as increasing them. What happened there is an example of the third thing I wanted to tell you, and that is that sometimes the altering the genes will have effects that aren't simply what the label of the thing is. I lowered the blue eyes gene, the impact of the blue eyes gene, and it also changed the shape of the picture's eyes. She looks more sort of Asian. Obviously, the program has learnt that Asian people don't have blue eyes, and so therefore it's associated Asian-looking characteristics with having a low score in the blue eyes. A similar example is that if you have a male with a beard and you lower the facial hair gene, sometimes it will also make it look more female. For obvious reasons, the program's learnt that female features are associated with not having facial hair. I don't want to get into the details of how neural nets work and so on, because the focus here is really just on what you can get out of using the program. But I thought that was an interesting thing to add as well. And finally, I didn't really get into animations, but after posting the video, I thought that might be useful for some people. For example, if you're running a game and running a role-playing game and one of the characters transforms into something else, a monster takes on human form or vice versa or something like that, it might be fun to have an illustration of that. So the way that you do it is very similar to how you would do a still picture, but there are some differences. You go to the create screen, and instead of image, you choose video. You can only animate between pictures in the same category, so you can't have a person turning into a building or an anime character turning into a portrait, for example, unfortunately. I'm going to choose portraits. And let's say I want to create a new one. And once I do this, the procedure is very straightforward, but I will go through it quickly. Let's say, sure, I want that one, and that one, and that one. You can have more than two parents. So in this, if I was to do this, the figure would animate from this one to this one, and then from this one to this one, and then down here you put the time that it's going to take between each stage. This is to do with how the percentages work, and I'm honestly not sure exactly what the difference is. So you just have to experiment with that, and then I would choose to generate. I'm not going to do that because it doesn't generate it straight away. There's a fair bit of processing time. So the way that you access them is a little bit different, and it can be a bit frustrating trying to get them. You actually have to go to image downloads. So it's not, video downloads. So it's not completely intuitive that would be where it would be. So if you go to your profile, I've saved these in the process of creating this video, but you'd think that would be where it would be, but nope. Video downloads. The reason it does that seems to be that the videos aren't available for other people to alter in the same way that portraits are, and because the videos take up a chunk of processing time, they just give them to you to download for a limited amount of time. As you can see, they're available for 30 days. That might be something you can get rid of by paying a paid membership. I'm not 100% sure about that, but let's view one that I've done anyway. Sorry, another thing I should say, there's how it works, but view editor, that's not going to give you the video itself either. You have to click on. So what's happening there, I'll just run it through again, is a little bit more interesting than you might think. It isn't simply morphing from picture A to picture B. It goes through several stages. Like, for example, this guy here is not either of the two source pictures. And then he turns into a man, and then the man turns into a younger child. What it's doing is it's altering the genes, and at each stage it's generating a picture based on those altered genes. So it's sliding for example, presumably the age of the end picture is lower than the age of the source, the beginning picture. So it's gradually lowering the age gene, and at each stage it's generating a picture of that age. So you can often get several intermediate stages. And then if I wanted to save that, I would just save as. I mean, it'll be slightly different depending on what sort of computer you're using. But anyway, so those are a few little extras. I hope they're helpful, and I will see you next time.